Hey, what's up? This is Drake here. I was coming back with another WUCHANG build video. I was going to go over the dual blade build that kind of carried me, especially to end game. It's really strong, clash build, I guess you would call it, but there really isn't a lot of diversity in the builds I've tried. Like, the game really needs some updating, some fixing. Like, a lot of the attacks just feel so slow and clunky that they just don't work, and dual blades, or dual swords, we can call them, are, I would assume, supposed to be one of the fastest weapons in the game, but instead they feel just super slow, and most of the time you can't get an attack off without receiving an attack. So what I just found myself leaning into is the clash mechanic, to where I can clash their attacks and keep attacking straight through them, because honestly, like I said, it's so slow that you're going to take a hit, so the only thing you can do is just try to be able to tank the hit and return the damage and keep going. But anyway, we'll go over the build right quick. I am on New Game Plus. This is maxed out at plus 10 weapons. But I got these. If you didn't know, you can go into Triangle. You can actually see the skill combo, what it does, stuff like that. Now, I've got two different sets of dual blades that I like to run. I like to run these, the unequilibrium blades, just because of spinning kick. I really like spinning kick as a skill. But what I use those for is non-humanoid bosses, something that you can't clash with. Now, you got to be aware that the clash mechanic does not function on melee attacks. So if it doesn't involve a weapon, if not hitting you actually with a weapon, you cannot clash that. So spells, area of attack, or if they're like a beast with claws or something like that, so the clash mechanic doesn't work. So for that one, I swapped to spinning kick, because I really like spinning kick, and it leads directly into, so you can spin and kick, and then it leads directly into your fourth attack of your combo, so you can keep your Skyborn Might up pretty much all the time. And honestly, it does really good damage, and it does pretty good break damage for dual swords also. So it works really good for those larger enemies that just can't be clashed with. But we'll go over the tree. The tree's going to be the same for either set of weapons, pretty much. Now, there's a couple important nodes. Now, if you didn't know, these are your heals. You want to come this way to get all your heals. And of course, there's more here and all the way to the end. I like one having max heals. But yeah, and there's a couple good things here. You can add extra charges to your temperances, which I would highly recommend, and stuff like that. But the main two that we're after, and I guess this would be kind of early. You can do this pretty early, but you won't. This one, we're at 90% madness. The final strike of your light attack combo restores a little bit of health for a little health regen. And then also, you want this one. Upon recover a small amount of stamina upon Skyborn Might. So we're going to set it up so that when we clash, we gain Skyborn Might. When we hit our fourth hit of our combo, we gain Skyborn Might. And when we do our sixth hit of our combo, we also gain Skyborn Might. So this is basically 100% active, and we get that little bit of health back from the sixth hit. Most time, if you try to boss a few times, you're going to be at or above 90% madness anyway. So, I mean, and you can artificially do it, so it's pretty easy to manipulate that. But that's the basic one. Early game, you can just grab these two, this one, and this one. And this one really helps. Like, the stamina recovery from a Skyborn Might is pretty nice. It just allows you to basically do an endless combo as long as you're getting the clashes and you're keeping the Skyborn Might, because it actually regens quite a bit of stamina. Now, you're going to go into your dual blades tree. You can go basically however you want, but this particular build works off of this Blade Master. And I like Blade Master any other, and if you didn't know, like I said in my previous video, your L1 ability is locked to the weapon. If you want a different weapon ability, you have to swap weapons, but your L2 ability is decided by this. So you can only have one of these, and I'll show how to equip it in a minute. So I prefer this one. I love Blade Master. It's a passive buff. It costs one stack of might to cast, and what it does, if you see, it makes your light attack swifter, and also performing clash restores some health. So that's how we are able to toe-to-toe tank. Now you also want to do this one to increase the buff of Blade Master, and this one, so when you're at or above 90% madness, clash weapons with enemies deflect most of the incoming damage. That also adds another layer of clash to it. So that's how we're getting some of our clash, and it restore effect becomes more potent at or above 90% madness. So our health recovery becomes even more important. So there's our second form of health recovery. We get health back on clash, we get health back on the last hit of our combo, we get stamina back on clash, and now we're starting to see a build emerge. And then we want to go here where the 6th attack of our dual blades give us Skyborn Might, and also here where the 4th attack of our combo gives us Skyborn Might. So now we can keep our buffs active more consistently with these two. And I also like to run this one when you have enough points to get to it, which allows your dodge attack to be your dash attacks to also have clash. So just another level of clash. Now it is important to be aware that these clashes do not mitigate 100% of damage. Some of the skills, like if you want to run the skills, they do mitigate 100% of damage, but these do not. It just allows you to mitigate most, it says it right here, deflect most of the incoming damage. So you will still take chip damage through this animation, but I mean, by the time you get it, most of the attacks that you dish out have clash on them. So as long as it's a weapon attack, you will clash straight through most all of it. But that is that. And then also the other thing that really helps put the build together is you want to come down here and grab Leech. Leech really makes a big difference. That's why you want to grab Leech. A couple of more see, where is it at? A couple more charges for your Temperance, and that way you can pop Leech. And there's another form of health regen we have on our blades that allows us to just sit there and face tank everything they can throw at us while our stuff is active. All right, the other part of the build, of course, on your Temperance, like I said, you just want to have Leech here. Everything else is just what you have, the best of what you have. But have your Leech on here. And in Benediction, I like to run these. This stacks with the build to make it a little better. I mean, you could go more offensive, but I like this. It's Skyborn Might reduces damage taken for a while. So since we're constantly, when we're toe-to-toe clashing, we're keeping Skyborn Might basically 100%. This is basically 100% uptime, and from what I've seen, it's a pretty big damage reduction. It's at least 20, it's between 25 to 50%. I think it might vary depending on the type of damage they're dishing out. But yeah, this makes a huge difference on survivability while you're doing your Skyborn Might, or while you're doing your clash animations with them. Now, this one I think is the best in slot, but this is really late game. This is like right before the final boss. But it's when you gain Skyborn Might, your attacks, it gives you life leech, so it just stacks with your leech. And when you run out of your Temperances, you still have leech. And like I said, we're constantly gaining Skyborn Might, so this is active like 100% of the time, most of the time, and it lasts the same exact duration as the damage reduction buff does, so they work really well together. Now, pre that, the backstab one is best in slot. Now, this one probably gives more health than the Leech one, to be honest, but it is situational. Like, I kind of really like this one for level clear and for large bosses that, you know, I guess have a big backside, you know what I mean? So you can get up in there and really get some health back. But anyway, yeah, that one works. And now last one is kind of maker's choice. I kind of prefer consecutive attacks increase your damage. Now this works well on dual swords because, you know, consecutive attacks is kind of our thing. But there is a couple of other ones I don't think I have. I think I forgot to buy it. But there's another one that does damage increase when you gain Skyborn Might. So that would just be like everything would be Skyborn Might oriented, and it would all flow very well together because you would be activating it almost all the time. But yeah, that's the basis of the build, just being able to clash and being able to regen health quicker than they can take it away from you. So those hyper active human bosses, you can just straight up toe-to-toe destroy them. Usually until they hit second phase. Usually on second phase, they get some sort of area of effect attack that you have to be cautious with. But you can watch some of my gameplay videos, and most of the time, if they got a weapon that they use primarily, I just melt them through the first phase. They can't even do anything to me. Alright, the other thing I would say is just weapons. There's a couple things to know about weapons. Like I already went over the unequilibrium blades here. I really like these for basically anything that's not a human boss, because the skill just flows so well. It's such a good... Well, but if you've seen some of my gameplay videos, I like the firearm blades too. Now these work extremely well for humanoid bosses, especially the humanoid bosses that have melee attacks mixed in with their combos. Because like I said, your clash does not work on melee attacks. So if they have a strong melee attack, especially one that flattens you, like if you played the game, the get up animation is absolutely terrible. Like if I do a New Game Plus playthrough, they've already announced they're going to patch it. I hope they fix the new game, the get up animation, because I've got killed so many times because she gets up like an 80-year-old woman that weighs 900 pounds. She's slow as shit, man. But this really helps, because honestly, the firearm blades, they're the weapon skill, perfect aim is so good, because it fires a shot that is like a time bomb, I guess you would say. You shoot it, it does a little damage, but after about a second or two, it detonates and it does a micro flinch. As you can see, a powerful shot that makes all but the strongest of foes flinch. What that means, if it's a large monster, this don't work. But if it's humanoid in any respect, this works. So these hyper aggressive bosses that won't give you time to do anything, that have melee attacks that you can't clash with, these are best in slot in my opinion, just because you can use this to create a micro flinch that allows you to get basically half to 3/4, maybe a full combo off, where you have to reset and do it again. And in that time, you've restored your feathering and you can back up and do it again. These are great for those human bosses that have melee attacks. And also the ability, the perfect aim, is a dodge. It always goes to the right for some reason. I hope they would patch that so that you could dodge any direction with it. But keep in mind, it always dodges to the right. But it has really good iframes. It's probably better iframes than a regular dodge does. So if you have an attack that you're not 100% sure about the timing on it, just pop the perfect aim, get the dodge, get the micro stagger, and all is well. This is probably one of the best dual blade skills in the game, I'd say, for any humanoid boss, because that little mini stagger is just what you need to be able to get in there to do some damage on those bosses that otherwise won't give you time to do crap. If you need to heal, shoot them with the thing, use the micro stagger as a heal opportunity. That's what I got to where I had to do most of the time, because it seems like the AI in this one is just hard programmed to punish you for trying to heal while you're in a boss fight. So these kind of best in slot for that. Didn't mean to do that. Basically, the only other thing I found is, like, be aware there are other dual blades in the game. Like, these are really good, but I found that if their skill applies some sort of blight, like if it says using temperance, like it says over there, using temperance to buff poise break makes this effect better. This skill puts on poise break. It will not allow you to use leech on these blades anymore, which I don't understand. I really hope they fix that. So if you've got a set of dual blades and the special ability, the weapon skill on them, applies any type of ailment, I guess you would say, you can no longer use leech on it. So these just became a lot less valuable in my opinion, because I can put an ailment on my blade with temperance if I want to, but I cannot put leech on my blades without temperance. So it kind of ruins the build. So just be aware, like these that put lightning, can't put leech on it. These do poise break, can't put leech on it. There is one set you get around mid game that has block on it, but honestly, like, dual blades don't have a lot of block oriented skills, so they just kind of felt bad to me in my opinion. And these are DLC ones. I really like Fearless Cleave, but most of the time it's just not all that effective. Like, it works really good against human bosses that you can clash with, but you've already got so many different clash animations that I just kind of prefer the gun blades to make those little micro staggers to give me time to heal when I need to, and such as that. That's it. Kind of a longer, more in-depth guide, but that's just kind of the basis of it. once you get that setup put together, once you get used to the clash animation, it makes the dual swords feel so much better. And honestly, it's kind of ridiculous the things that you can do. Oh, I forgot to go over talismans. Yeah, the pendants. Sorry, the pendants. Pendants are kind of important, not so much so. Like this one's kind of late game. This one, I really like stamina recovery because, you know, your dual blade, you're stamina hungry. This is like best in slot, always there. Now, as far as this one's kind of late game, this one does increases potency of physical attacks. That one's really good, but like I said, it's kind of late game. Pre that, I think that this might be one of the best, like increase the damage against large monsters. If you've gotten something large, it's just kind of a given. This works. Like this one, best in slot for level clear. You recover health upon defeating enemies. If you're running this plus the leech or the backstab one, if you play right, you can clear whole levels and never use a heal. This thing is really great. See the other one. Got one here. There's another one that makes weapon skills do more damage. Increase the power of weapon skills, yeah. This one's pretty good if you're using like the spinning kick one, because it just makes, I mean, that attack already hits pretty hard for dual sword, so just chunk that one on there, and it just makes it hit that much harder. But there's just a few different options of stuff that you get throughout playing the game. I didn't even realize I had this one. This one would be good, slightly reduces damage taken. And also this one. Once you get this one, this is kind of works really well with the Clash build. It just increases the potency of HP recovery effects. So we're already heavily dependent on HP recovery. Chunk this on there, and we're just that much more survivable. As far as spells, you can run whatever you want. This one's kind of broken, but it doesn't seem to work very well. I hope they fix it. For some reason, when you use ethereal form, you know, you precast it, and if you take a hit, you auto dodge it, and then you become invisible, and you get Skyborn Might back, which just allows you to basically use it infinitely. But for some reason, if you dodge an attack, even if you perfect dodge an attack, it still procs the animation of this skill. So I don't know, it kind of felt bad to me. Like if you just don't want to have to worry about perfect dodging it, just pop this sucker and go to town. But if you're trying to actually play the game and dodge a little bit, it just loses value very, very rapidly, in my opinion. But that's it. Just basic gameplay, dual blades, how to make them feel good. I'm assuming there might be a different play style, but I didn't find anything else that was practical. Clash just seems to be the way that you have to go, like with these hyper-aggressive humanoid bosses that are just in your face all the time. And the follow-up dodge animation is so very slow. Like, you can't dodge an attack and do that without getting slapped in the face for trying. But you put that with Clash. Now this animation has Clash on it. You just deflected most of their damage and gave it right back to them. So it feels so much better. But that's it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, click that sub button, man. It really helps support the channel. I do appreciate all the views and good comments. Keep them coming. If I miss anything, you want to know anything, drop it in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.